Good evening, everyone. I will now call this meeting of the Derry School Board to order. If everyone will please join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's awesome.
Thank you to the students from West Running Brook. First off, we will start with the roll call. If we could get everyone's name and position, starting from my right.
My name is Dr. Clifton Dancy. I'm the Director of Information Services and Transportation Coordinator.
Jane Samard, Business Administrator.
Kim Conant, Director of Curriculum and Grants.
Joe Crawford, Assistant Superintendent.
Austin Garofalo, Superintendent.
Brenda Willis, School Board.
Michael Thiel, School Board.
Jen Thoreau, School Board.
Jamie Carew, School Board.
Jenna Paradise, School Board.
Karen Rand, School Board.
Jason McLeod, School Board.
Elsie Kyle, Next Charter School Representative.
Anthony Henry, Pinkerton Academy Representative.
All right, good job, everybody. Before we get started tonight on the agenda, I need to make an amendment to the agenda. If I could have a motion to add the lease purchase agreement with Apple Incorporated to the agenda as item C under deliberations.
So moved.
First by Jason,
Second.
second by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, next item on the agenda is going to be the results of the March 11th school district election. A quick thank you to the 1,975 voters who took the time to come out and cast a vote. First, for school board member at large, a 3-year term, Karen Rand with 1,132 votes, Jen Thoreau with 1,324 votes, Brenda Willis with 1,354 votes and 27 write-ins. Karen Rand, Jen Thoreau, and Brenda Willis are elected. For school board member at large, 2-year term, Jamie Caro with 1,122 votes, Jenna Paradise with 1,254 votes, Richard Tripp with 741 votes and 17 write-ins. Jamie Caro and Jenna Paradise are elected. For Article 2, to raise and appropriate the sum of $24,601,951 for the purpose of financing school facility capital maintenance improvements, 3/5 ballot vote required. 1,296 yes, 585 no. Article passes. For Article 3, to raise and appropriate $102,184,053 as an operating budget. 1,392 yes, 490 no. Article passes. For Article 4, to approve the cost items in the 3-year collective bargaining agreement between the Derry School District and the Derry Education Association. 1,363 yes, 531 no. Article passes. For Article 5, to authorize the governing body to hold a special meeting should Article 4 fail. 1,374 yes, 510 no. Article passes. Before we move on, thank you to the administration, board members past and present, members of the community, and those who came out to support the warrant articles. Our teachers have a good contract for the next 3 years. We'll finally be able to make some headway with our facilities, so thank you again to everyone. All right, the next item on the agenda is the board reorganization. I'd like to congratulate our 2 new board members joining us tonight and our 3 board members who were re-elected. Now we need to handle the business of electing a chair, vice chair, and secretary for the upcoming year. At this point, I will entertain a motion to select a chair.
I'd like to nominate Michael Thiel for chair of school board.
Second.
First by Jason, second by Jen. We'll do a roll call vote. Brenda?
Yes.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 7-0. I'll now entertain a motion to select a vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Jen Thoreau for vice chair.
All right, we have a motion by Jason. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Jenna. Do a roll call vote. Brenda?
No.
Jen?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
No.
Jenna?
Oh, yes.
Karen?
No.
Jason?
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-2. I'll now entertain a motion to select a secretary.
I'd like to nominate Jenna Paradise for secretary.
Second.
All right, first by Jason, second by Jen. Roll call vote. Brenda?
Yes.
Jen? Jamie?
Yes.
Jenna?
Sure.
Karen?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 7-0.
Could I nominate Brenda for vice chair? Or is that too late?
Well, we've already voted. All right, well, before we move on, I would like to thank my fellow board members for their confidence in me to serve as the chair for the upcoming year. I'm really looking forward to the work and the challenge. I'm looking forward to working with Jen as the vice chair. For the rest of the board in the coming days, we'll be reaching out to you to gauge your interest in committee assignments. And when we meet again on April 8th, we should have some committee assignments to vote on. We'll also want to start looking at a date to hold a goal-setting workshop. I think we'll work with the administration. I think we'll want to get Mike Flynn in on that. So, just initially, I was looking at April 15th, but we'll settle on a date that works for everyone. All right, and one last item before we welcome our visitors. We are moving forward, going to be using a consent agenda to approve minutes, manifests, and personnel. So for tonight's consent agenda, we have the following items. Adoption of the non-public minutes from March 10th, 2025. Adoption of the public minutes from March 10th, 2025. Approval of the manifest in the amount of $2,054,038.55, of which $14,338.35 is general payroll and $2,039,700.20 is general expense. We have approval of the following staff resignations. Emily Barrett, Family and Computer Science teacher, Gilbert H. Hood Middle School. Gertie Flagg, Title I math teacher, Grinnell Elementary School. Stephanie Gillespie, science teacher, Gilbert H. Hood Middle School. Leanne Mayer, English Language Arts teacher, West Runningbrook Intermediate School. And Danielle Zucchi, teacher, East Derry Memorial Elementary School. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
First by Jason.
Second.
Second by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right. Now I'd like to welcome our visitors tonight. It's funny, the first school board meeting when I was elected 2 years ago, Grinnell was here, which was my son's school, and now my first meeting up here as chair, West Runningbrook is here, which is also my son's school. So
we really like your shirt. And if anyone else wants one, they are available for purchase in the office. Just let us know.
yeah, it's a very comfortable shirt.
Yeah. So thank you for having us here tonight. We're really happy to be here and recognize first our volunteers of the year, and then to show some of our fifth grade band students and show what they can do with our band director, Miss Sarah Nita. But this group of people stepped up. As we know, we were in a transition last year, and it was not easy. It's not easy to be the first PTSA board of an intermediate school and the first intermediate school in the district. And they stepped up right away. They had some experience, and they used that to make this year really special for our kids. So if we could have our West Runningbrook Intermediate School PTA board, Kristen Anderson, Cassia Tessier, Kimberly Young, Brooke Youngie, and Carrie Sawyer, come on up. So this amazing group of ladies put together a wonderful year for our students, starting off with our fundraiser, the Monster Mile, which we raised $15,000 for, which was organized completely by our PTSA the back to school bash, cookies and cocoa, slime night, presentations, Corey the Dribbler. Looking forward to an amazing jazz presentation that we've scheduled with Delfeo Marsalis, which is going to be wonderful, in our field days and sixth grade celebrations and field trips coming down the pike. We could not do these things without our PTSA leading the way, and these ladies kind of taking the bull by the horns as we transitioned and just doing a fantastic job. I personally don't know what I would do without them. They kind of knew. I went to a meeting at the end of the year last year, and they're like, yeah, we're going to be your board, just so you know. So I was like, it sounds great. I knew it was going to be great then, and certainly we haven't been disappointed. So thank you so much. We can't thank you enough for what you've done the first year at West Running Brook Intermediate School.
So I have a certificate for each of you. Most people say I don't need this. Hi, people at home. I have no idea. My middle name is Mr. Technology, right? So I'm going to read the certificate, and then I'll read each of their names. Certificate of Appreciation, Volunteers in Education for Valued Service at West Running Brook Intermediate School. We will start with Kristen Anderson. Cassia Tessier. I'm sorry, I put them in alphabetical order because I just have to. Carrie Sawyer. Brooke Yongi. And last but not least, Kimberly Young. So many great things happen over there. Please, let's give them one more great big round of applause for all they do. Thank you very much.
Before we move on, I'd just like to say, as a parent at West Running Brook, I go to all the PTA meetings, whenever I can. And I mean, you guys are doing a fantastic job this year in a new school where everybody's new. The turnout for our PTA meetings and, the involvement from students and families. I mean, it's really impressive feat. So congratulations to all of you.
All right, well, good evening. Is this on? I'm on, right? Okay. We are lucky enough to work with Mr. Fox and the amazing community of students and teachers at West Running Brook. We are so happy to have this opportunity to come and share our amazing school with you. We get to work with I just used amazing. We get to work with a very talented staff each and every day that donate and contribute so much of their time to many amazing activities and clubs. Tonight, though, we're going to share a glimpse of our band program with you.
Miss Sarah Nita is our band director. If you have not met her, she is unbelievably amazing. So you will get a chance to see her in action tonight. Our students have worked so hard. These students that are here tonight are 5th grade band students, have never played an instrument before. They have worked so hard. There's an amazing link on the district website for the concert that we just had, and everybody was in awe. It was amazing. So we're so excited to share that with you tonight. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Us. My name is Miss Serenita. I'm really happy to be here in Derry. I was in Merrimack for 20 years in a 5-6 school, so it's really exciting to be here and kind of start that process again. We are so excited to have instrumental music at West Running Brook. We have 104 students playing band instruments this year. 27 students are sixth graders who are second-year students who began last year when they were in fifth grade. And 77 students are beginners this year. 55 students are in fifth grade, and 22 students that are beginners are in sixth grade. The 104 total band students are spread out over 5 class periods every day. And then right before the concert, we got together and practiced all together as one big band. And so we'll do that again for our next concert. While we teach instrumental music for its own content merit, performing, enjoying, creating, and understanding music, tonight we are going to highlight the undeniable relationship between CARES and learning to read and perform music with a band instrument. The students will share a little bit about how they connect CARES and band, and then we will let their performance demonstrate their music literacy and musicianship they are developing at West Running Brook. So they are just representing our fifth grade portion of band students, and I'm going to just go down and let them introduce themselves and what their instrument is.
I'm Brooke and I play the flute.
I'm Mackenzie and I play the clarinet.
I'm Sage and I play the clarinet.
I'm Bradley and I play the clarinet.
I'm Jamie and I play the saxophone.
I'm Esther and I play the saxophone.
I'm Daphne and I play the trumpet.
I'm Dakota and I play the trumpet.
I'm Maggie and I play the trumpet.
I'm Owen and I play the trombone.
I'm Quinn and I play the trombone.
I'm Katie and I play percussion.
So we have just a couple students to share some information, and then I'll give you a mini performance. We're going to start with Sage.
C in CARES is for cooperation. We have to choose to cooperate during class. We have up to 8 different instruments in our classes, and we had to be very patient as we learned about each other's instruments. With a lot of beginners in one class on 8 different instruments, we had to wait our turns as each instrument group learned to assemble their instruments and begin making sounds. Now that we are getting into more complex band music where different instruments have different melodies and rhythms. At the same time, we share what we do not know with each other in order to figure out what we might not know yet.
And thank you. Katie's going to cover A from CARES.
A in CARES is for assertion. Learning to read music and play an instrument is very challenging. It is very important to choose to try and to ask questions and ask for help, either from another student or from Miss S. Sometimes assertion is deciding to slow down and try again. Sometimes assertion is gently letting your neighbor know they are making a mistake and helping them correct the mistake. Sometimes assertion is stepping forward when you know you can lead, like in showing the beat or counting rest out loud. Sometimes assertion is knowing when to lean into your strength of a leader. Like if a new rhythm is feeling confusing at first, or if you get lost during a musical rest in the music.
And Mackenzie will tell you all about R.
R in CARES is for responsibility. So much responsibility is required to succeed in band. You must remember your instrument every day along with your music and a pencil. Also, instruments are expensive and fragile. You have to be careful with how you handle and take care of your instrument. It is a sad day when your instrument has to be repaired and cannot play during band. Also, the most successful musicians are responsible about scheduling time to practice at home most days.
And Brooke's on it. Brooke has E.
E in CARES is empathy. We pay attention to empathy a lot in bands. While each individual is important, in bands we become one team. Teams need to take care of each other and encourage each other. We do not call out individual mistakes because all of the mistakes instead. We encourage each other because that is what we want when we make mistakes.
We share our music knowledge if we think that will make someone feel more confident. We think outside of ourselves, which helps us be a happy and healthy team.
And we'll finish up with CARES with S and Daphne.
S in CARES is self-control. Our entire first trimester was about practicing self-control. Self-control with our voices, bodies, and instruments is what allows us to work as a band team. It's easy to want to talk or play when we shouldn't. It was really easy to want to make crazy and loud sounds with our instruments at first. Self-control allows us to listen to ourselves and others, and to train our muscles and music memory bank to create quality controlled sounds. We have a lot to learn to read and perform as a band, so it's important we use our time together listening and thinking.
And Dakota's just going to wrap that up with a conclusion, and then we'll perform for you.
Some of our favorite concepts we have learned this year are metacognition, beat, rhythm, and subdivision, playing scales, melody, being composers, listening is thinking about what you hear, reading is thinking about what we see, listening, make music, and have fun.
So we're just going to give a brief overview of 3 different performances that we tend to do. And the first one is student composition. And I didn't know I could create my own music probably until I started, not even the first years I was teaching music. And it never occurred to me, I can just make my own melodies. So it's really nice as we've been working on that right in 5th grade. And so we have a couple of people that are just going to make you a melody right now, a short little melody. They've been learning just enough music theory. They have just enough music technique to do that. So the first person is Esther, and Esther is going to compose a song for you right on the spot. And we'll have one more, and that is Bradley on the clarinet. Thanks, Bradley. And so it's great to play in a band, but it's not like you can just go home and round up an entire band usually to hang out and play. So it's really important that kids can make music on their own or go into their own communities, whether it's a church or a senior center or a daycare or wherever they want to go make music and not have to have a whole band. So we also incorporate learning solos and duets and trios. And JMO had quite a solo during the January concert, so we thought it deserved an encore. So JMO's going to perform the theme to Star Wars. So we'll finish up on a piece that we're working on for our May concert. This is a piece titled Conquest, and involves all the instruments, some of them playing at different times. And I'm actually going to get out of the way because there's incredible leadership in this group. So Katie's going to be in charge of starting. They're going to use their listening to each other and across each other and monitoring themselves along with the rest of the group to stay together. And remember, Quinn's going to make sure you know when it's okay to put your instruments down. Ready? So if you like that, our jazz band will be doing a little performance on April 21st with world-class musician Delphio Marsalis. And we'll have a concert in May. We'll make sure that concert's posted. We'd love to see everyone at our next concert in May. Thank you.
Thank you.
So one thing that I think is important to recognize is that they never played an instrument before this year. So the hard work that they have put in and the hard work that Miss Serenita does each and every day really has just made a tremendous impact. So, I mean, you've been to 5th grade concerts before? Okay. This is special, right? It's what's happening, so we wanted to really recognize the group tonight. So that was an awesome job. Great job, everybody. And thank you for having us tonight.
Before you guys go, I just do want to say that was an amazing performance. You know, for you guys as 5th graders, really not one of you had ever played an instrument before this year? None of you. Wow. What's really cool about West Running Brook, too, is, in previous years in 5th grade, band was a club. You'd meet once a week in the morning. And now this year, you guys get to have it every day as a class. And I think you can really see what that does for your performance, how much you've been able to learn at this point in the year with, being with Serenita every day.
I would love to say something. So my daughter is a senior in Pinkerton. She's been in band since 4th grade when they had some opening. And if you guys continue this and you love your instrument, the band family will become a second family to you. You'll look forward to concert band and marching band and doing this, and you can really, really love the passion that you have for music. It's been I love seeing you guys start off this this young, and I hope you continue with it.
So I just visited yesterday. I got the pleasure of jumping in on bass drum, which was awesome. And I'm just, first of all, we can't say enough. just being up here and being in front of all these people. Look at all the people behind you. Millions of people watching on television. That alone. And look how great you guys did. So give yourselves a round of applause. That was awesome. And I'm wondering if your teacher, Miss Serenita, could maybe just give a little bit of an explanation of what's coming up with Mr. Marsalis. And who is he? That name sounds so familiar.
Yeah. So we're really lucky. The PTSA really went above and beyond to help us secure a visit from New Orleans musician Delfio Marsalis. Delfio is one of the Marsalis brothers. Ellis Marsalis is considered the father of jazz education in this country. He taught Harry Connick Jr., among others. Trombone Shorty, if you've heard of Trombone Shorty. And so Delfio Marsalis is related to Ellis Marsalis, and Branford Marsalis, you may have heard of, the saxophone player, the trumpet player, Wynton Marsalis, my arch nemesis, because he won Grammys at the same, when I was 17 and he was 17, and anyways. And then Delfio, I was really fortunate. I went to graduate school with Delfio Marsalis. So he'll be up here on the 21st. He's going to do a session with our jazz band. We'll do a school assembly, and he'll have another musician from New Orleans and some Boston-based musicians with him. And he'll do a school assembly after he works with our jazz band. Our jazz band will get to perform with that group. And then we'll be doing an evening concert at 7 at West Running Brook in our gym. And our kids will get to be the closing act with Delfio Marsalis and his musicians. So we're really excited and so grateful to our PTSA and the whole school community for supporting that.
Outstanding. Tough act to follow.
All right, thank you to our visitors from West Running Brook. We're going to take a 5-minute recess, and so we'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back. Next up, we have delegations and individuals. At this time, residents of Derry, parents of currently enrolled Derry students, and employees of the district may address the school board on matters that pertain only to school and district business for a period of time not to exceed 3 minutes per person. If you would like to speak, please come up to the microphone at this time and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Heather Rondo, 25B Hookcraft Drive. I have a question for you. When a child is disenrolled from the school district, is it a generalized letter that goes out from special education? The reason I ask, because unfortunately I did disenroll my son from the school district. It was a very hard decision that I had to make. And within 1 week of de-enrolling him, I had him in all the services that he was not receiving. And when I got the letter stating that that annual notification must be provided to inform parents providing home education that child find services are available should parents suspect their child may have a disability. Mine has 16 disabilities. And after I got the letter, it states that if your child qualifies for special education and related services, these services will be made available should your child return to public school. If that is the case, why did I have to fight for 2 years to get my son services he did not get? And now I'm getting this saying that if he comes back, he will have them. So I don't know if that is something that needs to be updated in the letter. I enjoyed having him in this Derry school district, but unfortunately he needed services he was not getting. So I think that this needs to be reworded when it comes from a special education department. Thank you.
Is this on? Hello? Hello. Brian Churchello, 6 Rollins Street. First off, I want to congratulate the newbies. Welcome back the people that have been here on the school board. You certainly got some work cut out for you, and I wish you all the best. What I want to bring up is I've been monitoring a lot of bills in Concord, and there's a bill called HB 657, which actually passed the House and went to second committee in finance. And then in finance, it was retained, which means that they're going to probably incorporate that into HB 1 and 2. Now, what that bill is it's basically a tax cap on school districts. And I don't want you to be too afraid at first, because what it does is it takes the 5 years, 5-year average of what the Northeast CPI was, which over the last 5 years, it's been significant. So I don't think you're going to have a problem coming out of the gate. But what I wanted to bring up is you should probably watch that and just keep that in the back of your mind, because if that comes to fruition, you know, you'll be operating under a tax cap, sort of like what the town did since 1993. It's not a scary thing. I actually like the tax cap. I've always said that. But it makes a lot of hard work. So anyway, wish you the best, and just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Jonathan Dugan, 5 Village Brook Lane. Just wanted to come up here and congratulate Karen and Jamie for being new members of the board. Also want to congratulate Brenda and Jen and Jenna as well for seeking re-election. And then I'll also congratulate Jenna and Jen and Michael for stepping up to do the leadership positions. Appreciate that. Looking forward to what you guys are capable of doing as well. And I mean, last and probably the most important is I want to thank the voters for coming out and supporting not only the Warren article, but also the teacher contract, as well as the budget. I think one of my takeaways is that those that come out and vote in local elections that pay attention overwhelmingly support the school district and the things that we're trying to do. We can all wish for more voters to turn out, but the ones that did and that I believe that pay attention, support, again, really every facet of the school district. So please continue to do those things. Your jobs are only going to get harder, obviously, from the things that we're seeing from a federal level. You are going to be closer and closer to the last line of defense in a lot of scenarios. So I hope you understand the burden that you bear and that it is not an easy one. It will not be smooth sailing. It will be difficult and challenging at times. And so I hope that you are all ready and willing and able to take that on over the course of your term on the board. So thank you for stepping up and doing that. But again, thank you to the voters as well. So good luck to everyone.
Not seeing anyone else stepping up to the microphone, so the period will remain open until 7:36 p.m., but we will move on. Next up, we have our student member update, so I will turn it over to Mr. Henry with the Pinkerton Academy update.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome new members, welcome returning members. I'm happy to be back. All right, so a lot of what I'm going to say is repeats from last time, but it's all still pretty important stuff. Start time survey is out, so if you're a parent of Pinkerton students, or if you have the survey, you can do that, and it's going to be open for the next 3 weeks, so you have time to do that. And even if you're not a parent of a Pinkerton student, it is available on PDF form on the website, so you can go take a look if you want to look at that. There is also a survey for cell phone usage out that is open until April 1st. Because I know that's a topic in the state right now, a possible cell phone ban. So I'm curious if that's going to happen here too. Might be a discussion soon. SATs and PSATs are on April 2nd. I have that because I am a junior this year. And the college fair is also April 2nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Over 100 colleges and other recruiters will be there. That's all I have.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Henry?
Not a question, just a statement. Good luck with your SATs next week, and good luck to everybody taking the test. So,
thank you.
Did you attend All Shook Up last weekend?
I wasn't.
Sorry, did you attend? I know that the Pinkerton players just put on All Shook Up over the last weekend. Were you able to attend that?
I was working because my boss decided to go on a surprise vacation, so I had to stay and help him clean up. So thank you, Billy.
I'm sorry, maybe you can watch a video of it. It was very good.
I have seen videos, and I have a lot of friends that were in it.
Yeah, it was very good.
All right, thank you, Mr. Henry. Next up, we have Ms. Kyle with the next charter school update.
So last week we took a school-wide field trip to a place called Alnoba. I think it's closed off to the public, but it was really fun. It was nice. I went on it. And we also hosted a blood drive, which got a lot of students volunteer hours, which is important for one of our credits that we do, social engagement. And we also raised $8,500 for the Special Olympics of New Hampshire out of the $2.5 million raised through the Penguin Plunge fundraising event this year.
Very cool. All right, any questions for Ms. Kyle?
thank you.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, we have 3 items to consider tonight. The first item is going to be the folding wall at the East Derry Memorial Elementary School. We had discussed this item at the last meeting and decided to push consideration of it until tonight. So, Jane, are you going to take it from here?
Okay, we brought forward, we did have 2 vendors we brought forward at the last board meeting. We had a question regarding warranty and references. My assistant Tracy reviewed all the references, and of course all things are equal with the references. Both companies are very reputable, and the warranties were the same. So we're still asking the board to approve CRF for the wall at East Derry for $77,900.
One question, was there any sort of service contract required by either one of the bids? I remember.
No, originally we thought that there was going to be a service contract with one of them that you would have to maintain each year with them. My facilities department does the work right now on maintaining the wall. They do all the service for it unless it's not working. So we feel that we are able to maintain the service on that.
All right, and the recommendation of the administration is for the bid from CRF?
Yes.
All right, so sure, go ahead.
Unfortunately, I wasn't at the last meeting. I wasn't at the last meeting, unfortunately.
Microphone is on.
Could you tell me where we're getting the money from?
We are getting the money from unspent funds at this time of the year. I'm anticipating that we'll have a surplus, and that's where we're taking the money from.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It doesn't matter.
I move to accept the recommendation to award CRF Incorporated to replace the movable wall at East Derry Memorial for a total of $77,900.
All right, we have a first by Jason,
Second.
second by Jenna. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, the second item we have to discuss is going to be the roof replacements at Grinnell and Gilbert H. Hood. This is going to be the first projects resulting from the passage of the bond. So, Jane, you going to take this one again?
Okay, so ARM had, they had 4 bidders for the project at Grinnell, and they provided us a levelizing sheet for the bids. And for the Grinnell project, the low bidder would be Tech Roofing, and they're the same company that replaced the roof at Barca and the roof at West Running Brook over the summer. So we have experience with them. ARM has also done many projects with them, and they came in at the lowest bid at $487,290. Do we want to do the votes separately for Grinnell and, do you want me to move on to?
You can move on. We can do it as one vote.
Okay. And also there were no, we did not have any add-ons to that project. For Gilbert H. Hood, for that, the project for Gilbert H. Hood, Tech Roofing also came in as the low bidder. There were 10 alternates that we looked at that could be part of the project. Myself, Jeremy, Rob, Austin, and Tim from ARM sat and went over the bids and went over the alternates that could be added to the project. We had them, and when they did the levelizing sheets, we had them highlighted in yellow so you could see the ones that we were in agreement that we believe would be beneficial to do at the same time as the project. So in addition to the roof replacement, we would be doing alternate number 2, the ladder dock for $795, the chimney repair, the louver vents in the cupola, and brick ceiling and waterproofing. With the additional add-ons, you can see that each vendor also had included those in their price. Tech Roofing is still the low bidder at $840,000. So our recommendation is to move forward with contracts for Tech Roofing, for Grinnell, and Gilbert H. Hood.
All right. Do we have any questions? Mr. Maher, go ahead.
Jean, what kind of warranty comes with these roofs? Because Barca roof already is leaking.
I'll have to, as far as the Barker leak, roof leaking, I'll have to talk to Jeremy about that. I'm not
Thank
sure
you.
if that's in the area where the roof is replaced or if there's some other issue on that. Let me look at I believe it's a 20 or a 30-year. It's a warranty on the product.
So that's what was going to be my next question. What does it warranty? Like if it leaks in 6 months, is it going to be some kind of installation was wrong, so it's not covered?
So they warranty their work.
Their work.
Under arm. They will, they've come back when we've had
Yep.
issues with them so far. And Brian and Tim have both been involved anytime that we've identified an issue since the install. So things have been repaired very quickly. But let me get you it's the same, no matter which vendor it was the same
Okay.
amount.
As
But
long
it's
as
only
you're
based on the
comfortable
product.
and, as you, Jeremy, whatever, are comfortable with the warranty that we're getting and you believe that it's what we need to have to protect the district,
Yes.
I'm good with that.
Yes, it's a standard warranty for them, but like I said, we just met on it, and they, the warranty is the same on the material of the roofing, no matter which vendor it was, because they all had to bid on the same product.
Okay,
And
thanks.
Tim Archer is the one who reviewed each contract to make sure that there was nothing that varied from contract to contract. It was all bid based on the specs.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to follow up on what Brenda's saying. I would like to see what the warranty is. I mean, I think we're all eager to start getting these projects underway and get things done this year, but I'm not comfortable with it might be this or it might be that. I'd like to know if it's 20 years, if it's 30 years, if it's materials and labor. Is ARM covering a certain aspect of it? Does the vendor cover a certain aspect of it? I think we should have that if we're voting on this to move forward, we should have that somewhere in writing or something that went along with this bid sheet, because I get 160,000. We've done work with Tech Roofing before, but if A&M or North Star has a better warranty, then it might be worth part of the discussion when we think about long-term. Food for thought. So if you can't provide it, I mean, I don't know when when we need to get these back, but I would prefer to have an understanding as to what the specifics are around the warranty before we bid in this thing, or before we vote to approve and this thing goes underway.
Sure. I will find it because I have the bid documents, but none of the contractors have a bid that's longer than another. It would be in the specs. So all of the warranties are the same, no matter which bidder it was.
Okay. And you say you have that, Jane?
Yeah, I'm sure it's here in the, it was 184-page bid documents.
I would just
But
like to know, just for my own,
Sure.
for me personally as one vote, if I'm going to put my name on it and say, yes, I would like to feel comfortable and confident that
Sure.
we know
Yes.
if it's 20 or 30 and kind of what some of the details
Right.
are.
But they are all the same.
So we want to circle back around on this, or do you
I mean,
guys
if
wanna
they are
keep
all the same,
discussing?
does that settle your question, or?
I mean, I just would like to know. I mean, I'm voting on it. It's a
Jane, I was under the impression we talked about 20.
$1.3 million. I mean, I'd like to be confident that I understand what the warranty is.
Is this a question you can answer tonight from the documents you have, or?
I
Well,
just-
I mean, is there an index?
Scan the 187
I
pages,
just
right?
texted Jeremy and I asked him, wasn't it a 20-year warranty on the roofs? And he said yes.
And that's materials? Good?
It's materials.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I just want to follow up with what Brenda was saying, in that if we've had Tech Roofing, and when did Barca's roof get replaced? Last summer, and there's already issues. You were saying that you don't know whether or not the issues are regarding what was just put on, or it might have been a different part of it. But I mean, in your eyes, and I guess I would default to Jeremy and to you guys, but I mean, if we just had tech roofing, even if there's a warranty, if there's already a problem, does that raise any red flags?
When did the roof leak start? Was this presented to us? I don't remember. There's a lot going on.
I was
but-
reading there and I saw it.
Okay.
Oh.
So this
This
is
is
not
new
like
news. This is
Well,
new
I don't know
news
how
then.
new it is. I don't generally walk the halls at Barker, but I was there 2 weeks ago.
So sometimes there's a variety of reasons of why there may be, if you're seeing a ceiling tile that has staining or if there is some leaking, sometimes it's from the sprinkler system, sometimes it could be from the roof, could be from different areas of the roof. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, Brenda. Anytime someone, if they're following process, everybody in the district is supposed to present any issues in the district with concerns and put them in our maintenance portal. So I do see all of the ones if they're logging all of them. And I haven't seen anything that's of concern that Jeremy wouldn't be working with ARM on resolving any issues.
So
Same
has
thing at
this
West
actually
Runningburg
been
Tech.
documented? Did you notify anybody when you saw it?
I
We
talked
haven't.
to the principal. It's
Oh,
not,
okay.
it's not my job to
No,
notify.
but I'm saying she is befuddled. So do they even know about this? Is this on the record somewhere, or were you just saying
And I
it during
mean,
the meeting? I
we
wasn't
haven't
sure.
replaced ceiling tiles. I mean, a stain on a ceiling tile could be.
I mean, I have access to all of the maintenance requests. I don't think I have the time. I mean, I wouldn't be able to pull that up right here at this time at the meeting, but I do see everyone that comes across, and Jeremy is, anytime that there is a leak or anything, issues with the roof, he's taking care of it. So do I feel confident with tech? I do. Our experience working with them on the 2 projects, we had no issues really working with them, and ARM has contracted with them many times, done work many times, and I don't think that Tim Archer would bring forward somebody that he didn't feel confident in doing the project. We've had some leaks at West Runningburg in a different area of the roof, which was not where they even replaced or touched. So sometimes it's areas that were not part of the replacement. Again, I can't speak specifically to what Brenda's talking about. I apologize, but if I had more time, or I'm happy to follow up with the board tomorrow after talking to Jeremy and researching it.
The public comment period is still open until 7:36, and it looks like we have a commenter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, if this was noticed 2 weeks
Mike's not on.
Hello. If this was noticed 2 weeks ago, I have a hard
David.
time. I have a
David.
really hard time.
Name and address.
Oh, excuse me. David Clapp, 3 Barkland Drive. Sorry about that. If this was noticed 2 weeks ago, I have a real problem that the administration wasn't notified, whether it's by a board member or a principal of a school, and that's really disturbing to me. And to bring it up in a meeting without having a conversation offline with these people to discuss it is not acceptable either.
I did notice it to the
I'm talking,
principal.
Brenda. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I really, this is really troublesome to me, and I look forward to the update next meeting on what this actually is, because sounding the alarm before you know what actually is going on is not an acceptable route either. So thank you.
If I can jump in, we had a sprinkler leak there recently. It wasn't roof related.
Thank you.
That's from Jeremy, which is why, trust me, he doesn't waste our time telling us when we have the little leaks here and there. But he would definitely tell us if, just like when ARM found the problem when they put down the roofing in the wrong way or whatever it was, or the wrong material in there. So we didn't hear about it because it just was the regular old stuff that happens so often. So it is not related to the roof.
Mr. Tripp.
Richard Tripp, 44 Wyndham Road. This is an interesting discussion. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, David, for turning the mic off. Richard Tripp, 44 Wyndham Road. Like I said, this is an interesting discussion because when I sat through all the facility meetings, I thought one of the things that was part of the bid was to have someone overseeing the installation of, or whatever, on all these projects you're going to be working on. You know, it almost sounds like, is there someone going to be overseeing the installation of the roofs?
Tim Archer is going, and Brian Toner from ARM will be overseeing the project. There are consultants, as well as at the next board meeting, we will be bringing forward Mark Jobin, who will be our, we're proposing to be our project manager for all of the projects that were approved in the warrant. So you'll have 2 consultants as well as a project manager.
All right, so we have people overseeing the installation. What is the process for them reporting issues to the board?
Mr. Tripp, I'll let the first one go, but the public comment period is for comment. It's not a question and answer.
That's true. I would expect you to answer the next meeting.
But just for the rest of us up here, you can pose your questions, but they will not be answered during the public comment period.
Thank you. I acknowledge that. Well, thank you.
Austin, Jane, thank you for clarifying warranty piece. Thank you for at least, Brian's coming back?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are we still open for another
3 more minutes.
All right, thank you. I just want to ask that when you report on some of these, the roofs and stuff, it would be great for the public to know if we're on budget, if we're under budget on those bids, because as we know, a lot of commodities are going up and down. So I have no idea. You gave us the price, which is great, but it would be nice to know whether we're over budget, under budget. If we could bring that up, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Well, I can say that the budget for, that was put forward with the bond for the Hood project was $800,000, not counting contingencies, so we're right on there. And the budget for the Grinnell project was $700,000, so that's, even when you consider the 39 grand that we spent on the temporary fix, that one's still well under.
I'm going to move forward with the recommendation for tech roofing for Gilbert H. Hood in the amount of $847,775 and Grinnell for $487,290.
First by Jason.
Second.
Second by Jen. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right, chair votes yes. Motion passes 7-0. All right, next up, we have the lease purchase agreement with Apple Incorporated, which I believe is for teacher laptops. So
That is correct.
Taking that one, Cliff?
What you have in your board packet is a resolution that says that Jane can sign for the district a contract with Apple that enters us into a lease agreement for 4 years. Let me give you a little bit of context. 5 years ago, we bought the contingent of laptops for the teachers. Last year, we cut the renewal out in order to help the budget, but this year we really needed to put it back in. Instead of buying them up front with one big price tag of $300,000 at a time, we look for financing on that, and so it's $75,000 a year for 4 years. That will get us 342 laptops. We do not buy warranties with these because that would almost double the price and we would never use the warranties. So we have our shop inside, does all of our repairs, and If there is something that needs to be something beyond that, then there is some repair money that can do that, but it's not worth it for us to buy extended warranties on 342 devices. So we do that. This is a new thing that they have included in their lease packages, that the board pass a resolution that authorizes an agent to sign for the lease. I think that some school districts have burned them in the past, or people have nefariously signed these things and then the school district didn't back them up. So that's why you have this in the packet, and we need a vote tonight in order for that to happen.
Got a couple questions.
Certainly.
What is the unit cost?
$846.
That is the all-in? That's like is it, I assume, discounted pricing and?
Yes, the standard, well, the price for these devices, if you bought them out on the market, would be around $950 to $999.
Okay. And did we look at other alternatives, maybe more cost-effective alternatives, Dell, ThinkPad? I'm curious about what a per unit cost might be, because the last piece of my question is do we need to have Apple? I mean, this to me seems it's a pretty big nut over 4 years, 300 grand. I'm assuming maybe Dell, we could cut that in half, cut it by 30%, 25%. Would there be a overwhelming reason why we would need to have Apple? I mean, I use Dell at work and it serves me fine. I'm on the thing all day. I'm curious generally. I mean, it's a pretty big spend.
I have about 4 reasons why we stay with Apple.
Great.
The first one is because we have 325 teachers that have been using these for about 2 decades. And the professional development that would go along with switching them over, and the morale, I considered that 6 years ago when I first came and we were supposed to do that. I was going to switch to Chromebooks, but keeping in mind what our teachers go through every day, that would be one hurdle that we didn't feel at that time was worth the reduction in cost of purchase to do that. So we get the best price that we possibly can for an Apple product. The second reason that I do this is that they are more durable than the Windows machines that I would buy. I rarely have to, of all of those devices that I purchased 5 years ago, I maybe have had to supplement with 10 extras that I was able to easily buy off of eBay or Amazon for a reduced price that work perfectly well. Whereas Windows machines they don't stand up like that for the amount of, if I were to buy a more economical device, it would not last for 4 years or 5 years. The other reason for that, the other thing that I do is that in a network such as ours, I would need to be running Active Directory if I were running Windows devices. And I've already cut my network administrator, who would be the person who would be running Active Directory for our district. Now, if you have been following the news, you know that CrowdStrike had a data breach. You know that Microsoft had a data breach. You know that PowerSchools had a data breach. So many of these data breaches, and I'm not saying that every one of these was caused by that, but Active Directory is something that gets targeted all the time for data breaches. And we don't use Active Directory. Our Macs run independently. Each device connects independently to the network and is less susceptible to malware and other viruses and things like that. So it doesn't spread quite as much. We do not have near the security issues that a Windows device would have. So for security, for the teacher's familiarity, for the longevity of the device, those things, the overall, what is the cost of ownership is of a greater value to go with a Mac than that initial sale price of going with a Windows machine. So those are the reasons that that we've considered and why we have stayed with Macs for the past decade, 2 decades.
Is that able to be quantified, Cliff? So, because I get all that, it does make sense, but are you able to say based on this amount of machines, and with service or replacement, we would end up spending X per year. But because we've gone with Mac, we're able to save. So in my opinion, when we're talking 300,000, it should be quantified, right? So you say, normally if I had this machine, I might need to replace 5% or 10% every year, and that would cost this much, or a data breach would cost us X. I'm curious. I apologize, I kind of just got some of this information today, so.
Certainly, well, I'll quantify this. I would need a personnel to run Active Directory, and that personnel would cost me nearly $100,000, and right now I'm paying Harbor Networks to manage my network for about $32,000 a year. So right there's about $68,000 right off the top in personnel that justifies my doing this. That I would need somebody to do Active Directory, a network administrator that would need to be able to do that. Not only that, but we would have additional costs in individual virus protection on each device. We have that through our Mosel Manager. That's how we deploy our devices for Apple's for our Apple devices, and it includes a virus detection service within it. So we don't have that additional cost with it. So yeah, there are, like I said, the personnel costs there. We can do that. The turnover. I don't have the exact, because I haven't been in a window shop in 6 years, but I do know that when I was in a window shop, we were repairing much more than what we are right now.
Okay. The one thing I'll leave it with matters like this, what I would ask for personally is additional context up front and kind of all of this color you provided here.
Mm-hmm.
If we could have that sort of thing in advance so we can really kind of read through, not just for a contract like this, but like roofing, right? What is the warranty? These are things that we're going to ask every meeting. So when we get the information, my ask would be that we get everything we need in advance. So we're coming here and kind of having a quick discussion, or we're putting it to a vote because we have what we need. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions or comments? All right, do I have a motion to approve the 4-year lease purchase agreement with Apple Incorporated in the amount of $299,759?
Before, Michael, the thing in the packet is to approve a resolution that authorizes Jane to be
So we're not approving the agreement, we're approving Jane to authorize the agreement?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that the dollar amount?
$299,759.
We're approving her to authorize that amount, not an approval that could then be a different amount, correct?
We're approving her ability to sign the lease agreement, yes, which equals $299,700.
Got it, thanks.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve Jane Simard to authorize the 4-year lease purchase agreement with Apple Incorporated in the amount of $299,759?
So moved.
First by Jen,
Second.
second by Jason, second by Jenna. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes yes, motion passes 7-0. All right, next up we have the administration reports. Jane, you're first up with Honeywell cost avoidance.
Okay, so this is nothing that requires a vote. This is just informational for you. As you know, we entered into a energy efficiency program with Honeywell back in 2016, where they replaced a lot of our lighting, a lot of our HVAC, and every year they provide us a cost avoidance report. And since that time, since the 2018 installation, we have had a cost avoidance of more than $1 million. So our annual target every year is about $650,000, and about $590,000 is usually the annual target, and we've exceeded our annual target of cost avoidance. So the cost that we pay for the lease of the program is always covered by the cost avoidance, the savings, I guess, if you will, of all of the replacements that we did and the retrofitting and the energy efficiencies that we've seen from the project that we've had through Honeywell. So I think that there were 165 pages for your reading pleasure, if anybody wants to go through that. We have had Honeywell come here in the past, if they want to have them do a presentation. Otherwise, it's good news. We are on target, as usual, to realize our cost avoidance with that project. And that's a 20-year guarantee on that project that we will have a cost avoidance in the favor of the district for 20 years.
All right, does anybody have any questions about that report? All right, hearing none, I will keep it going with you, Jane, for your business administrator's update.
Sure. So one of the important things is the West Runnybrook facade project. We had a mandatory walkthrough, and I believe that there were 5 firms that did the walkthrough. And last Friday was the date that all the bids were due. They did have 2 bidders, or 2 companies that did the walkthrough, who notified them during the week last week that they would not be submitting bids because they don't have, their staff is already committed to other projects. The remaining 3, of the remaining 3, only 1 submitted a bid for us. That bid did come in significantly under the budget. So we'll be bringing that to you at the next April 8th board meeting. We'll be bringing that bidder forward. We do have to, and I've checked with Alan and Jane to see if one of them will be able to attend the board meeting to talk about the bid and warranties and all of those things that they have. Again, their scope of work is very extensive as well, and they're the experts on that. But coming in, this is a contractor. The one that did submit a bid is a contractor that they have used many times, has submitted sufficient references, many references for work that they've done in school districts and municipalities, and have also submitted the original references that they submitted were all municipalities and school districts, but they were not as high dollar values as the project we're working on. So they submitted those because they wanted to show that they have done extensive work in school districts and municipalities. So I just asked if they would submit their projects that were higher in the range of our dollar value, and they have since done that. And both Jane and Alan have vetted them because they've worked with them on many, many projects. So we'll bring that forward to you, and it wouldn't really be a levelizing sheet because it's nobody to level against, but it is significantly, it's about $800,000 lower than the budgeted amount in the bond.
I have a question about the other ones. So just out of curiosity, why would 2 of the firms do the walkthrough to then just tell you that they don't have the manpower to do it?
Well, I think they all want to come out and take a look at the project and really get a sense of how much it
and
entails.
The other, you said there were other, how many other ones just didn't submit a bid? 2 others?
There were 5 in all.
Okay, so 2 said no, 1 said yes, so that leaves 2 of them. Have we, I don't want to track them down, but did we call to follow up with them?
I don't call them. That's what Jane Levin from Gale Associates, who is our engineering firm who is doing this on our behalf, she reaches out to them, and I know that she was, when I spoke to her on Friday, she still had not I don't think she spoke to at least one of them, had not gotten back to her and given a reason, so.
Okay, I would love, obviously we'll have one.
It's staffing is what I was told.
What is that?
It was staffing.
Okay.
They couldn't do it. One had originally said, would you be willing to do it in a 2-phase and do part of the building this summer and do the other part of the building? That was something they originally asked Jane. They then, I think within a day or 2, then emailed her back and said, we need to retract that offer. We don't have the staff to do it.
Okay.
She also had a mandatory walkthrough at a project in North Conway. She had one bidder show up. So I think it's something that we're going to be facing.
I just hate
So-
not having options. It just kind of stinks when we only have like, here it is, take it or leave it.
Well, I mean, you do have one qualified bidder who is $800,000 less than what we had anticipated, who can complete the project on time. I would strongly suggest that, I'll send whatever paperwork I can for their bid. They submitted their bond certificate. They are vetted and qualified through Gale Associates, and much more holding off past April 8th. They have to order the brick, and that takes multiple weeks to get that in and have them get us onto their schedule. So, unfortunately, I know it's great to have multiple bids. I was shocked, to be honest. I was eagerly waiting until 2 p.m. and only saw one email come in. It was kind of sad. And I called Jane and said, well, if someone submits on Monday, we'll still consider it. And nobody was going to submit. So that's where we are. And again, if it was somebody that they hadn't worked, but, was a random company that was submitting and that was our only option, I'd probably be as concerned as you if we didn't know what they do for work. They're a qualified bidder. It's just unfortunately they are the only one, so there's nobody, and they came in lower. So right now, out of 5, they're the only one that have staff to do the job. So, but I will hope that should it need, if the board chooses at the next meeting to go back out to bid, the project will not get done over the summer.
Do we want to, are we making a motion to go forward with them now, or are we?
There's no decision to be made tonight. This
Okay.
is just information.
Okay.
The bid will be brought forward at the next meeting.
Oh, right, sorry. Yes.
Gail will be coming to the next meeting?
I've asked, I wasn't sure until really today whether we were going to put it on for a vote or not. So I emailed them this evening to ask them if one of them could attend.
And you're saying April 8th was their kind of drop dead as it relates to getting us on their calendar for this summer and being able to order materials?
April 8th is our next board meeting, right? So Jane Levin, when she emailed me today, that company did reach out, inquired with her when the board would be making decision, because they are trying to be they're obviously anticipating whether they'd be winning the award or not. And I can just simply read the sentence that she said. Due to the short construction period, the contractors would need to start pulling together submittals and brick samples as soon as possible to meet the completion date. So,
Does April 8th give us enough, like, are we still within time for them, or?
I notified her that we would not, I talked to Michael earlier that it was not going to be a vote tonight. I notified her that it would be coming to the April 8th, and she said that they would, and I also said to her, can you at least have them give us the samples of the brick, because we have to choose the samples of the brick, so that at least if we've chosen the sample, we're not waiting until the 9th to start looking at that. She said that she let that company know that April 8th would be when they would be, hopefully the board would be making a decision, and that company would be working on getting us some samples so that we can expedite the process of getting the bricks in. You have to remember, we have such a, the roofs are one thing. I could probably continue to do roofs while school's in session. Right. Doing this facade is it's noisy, and they're going to be dismantling the exterior of the building. It's going to be very disruptive to staff and students. I've been talking, Jeremy and I have been talking to Gail, to Alan and Jane about, well, what if they have to, maybe could it run into August, September, or September, really? would be very disruptive noise-wise. So that's why we're trying to get them on their start date and make sure that we're ready to go. It's a very short window, and that's why some of the other bidders were not able to do it with the staff that they have.
So does waiting 2 weeks, does it work for them?
I mean, they've been notified that that's that's when they're notified. So they know that it's not, the earliest will be April 8th, and they will, they responded that they will get us the brick samples.
So
Prior to that.
let me jump in. The waiting, I guess I'm looking for a reason to wait. We have Gale Associates who, just like with ARM, they send out the RFPs, they get the bids, and they only do it when you think of these 5 companies. They were all vetted. They were comfortable with any of these 5 companies. I could see us being worried if they were 800,000 over and they were the only one. But we feel comfortable working with Gale. Gale only got bids, well, they didn't get 5 bids, but they only reached out to these 5 companies because they are vetted, they've worked with them, they know they can do the job. And I think when we keep pushing things off, couple of more weeks, we are under a crunch. And I would say that this is more important than the roofs. We need to get this done. Listen, I'm not going to be here this summer, but I still care about it. And I want to know that this is happening. And we could wait 2 weeks and it would be fine and they can get the stuff. But every time we do this, we are in such a crunch. We have a situation here where we had 5, we only got 1. It's $800,000 less than what we've got. Gale Associates, who knows they're a good company and knows they can work with this company.
So my question is, if we were to take a vote tonight, is there any detriment if something came up? Because if they can still come to the presentation, or if they still wanted to come to the April 8th meeting under the assumption that we are then hiring them, and then all of a sudden we decide, whoa, something's, something comes out of left field, are we able to change our mind? Because I agree with what Austin's saying, and I agree with, especially if we only have 1 bidder, if we wait too long and something else comes along that they're secured something and we don't have them, they have no reason to hold off or make space for us, and then we lose the 1 bidder that we had on something that needs to get done. So can we bring this to a vote and say, barring something crazy coming down the pipe, that this is what we're going to go with?
If we vote on this tonight, would you be signing contracts within the next 2 weeks?
Yes, I mean, if the board voted to move forward on the 1 award, then we would be issuing contracts in the next.
So the answer to that is, if you've signed a contract with the vendor before the next meeting, we can't reverse.
Correct. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, she could give him depending on what you do tonight, but if you're voting to move forward with that project, then Gil would be drafting a contract and all of that. They know we're waiting till the 8th. I would have brought all of the information had I thought that you were going to do a vote, but I have the total dollar amount and I do have the firm.
That's what I'm struggling with, sorry, Karen, is that the information should be distributed, right? That's kind of what I've been saying. I feel like the better part of 2 years is just get us the information. We're going to review the information, and it's incumbent upon the 7 folks over here to do the work in advance of today. If we had the information, I know I would be comfortable to take a vote. I'm concerned about having to pull some of this stuff out when, if you've got it, why not distribute it? That's and I'm not trying to be frustrated, but I'm a little frustrated because I get Austin's point. I deal with this stuff all the time at work. I get it. Contractors are limited. We've got hundreds of projects to do all the time. The pool is very small, right? And sometimes, especially Gale, Gail is good with them. They recommend them. This is one of the 5, but we've got nothing to look at to make the decision. And it's great that it's $800,000 under. I say, oof, $800,000 under, that's a little concerning too, right? If one thing swings 800,000 above or 800, that's a pretty big swing, right? So, and I'm sorry, Karen, I just,
That's right, that's what
it's a little frustrating, and I'm just gonna be transparent and share that out because I would be prepared to make a vote if I had something to look at.
So can I just ask Jason, and I don't disagree with you, part of the issue because of timing of board meetings, the bids weren't due back until Tuesday. So we anticipated that Gail would have done a levelizing sheet had there been more than one bidder. So I think the only thing that we could have brought forward is a copy of their bid, which is simply the same thing. It's the $1.7 million. They also don't know these bid numbers are based off of what estimates that we were given when we were going through all the bond process and all that. So unless they're looking up what our estimate was for the project, they don't know what we've budgeted for that particular project. So same thing, Tech Roofing came in significantly lower than the other bidders. And I asked ARM why that is. Some companies are more aggressive and want to keep their crews working, is what he said, because they're all busy. All those crews are busy. Some are just more aggressive in their numbers. So I don't know why it's so much lower than our bid, but if you feel more comfortable, I think just like ARM, we got the levelizing sheets prior to your board packet going out. And sometimes with the timing of it, we don't have that information. But in this case, where there was one bidder, I know that people don't feel comfortable with that. So it's up to you. If you would feel more comfortable and have one of the representatives from Gale come and speak to it on the 8th, we can certainly do that.
I think also on that, the $800,000 less in the price, my thoughts would be, is the material actually in the specs, the material that they're going to be using? Is it quality? I mean, that is a big jump in price.
Gale issued the specs to all of the contractors, so any bid that would have come in should have been done to the specifications of the engineer. But I can have Gale speak to that.
So I guess this is the problem that I have. No offense to all of us up here, we're relying on Gale Associates because they are the experts. When I look at the roofing, we've got 487,290 up to 696,861. We've got 84,775 up to almost 3 million. So there's disparity but we are, because I don't know. I'm a superintendent of schools. I don't know about replacing banding on West Renningbrook. But Gale Associates does. And they are comfortable with these. They've worked with these companies. They know the kind of work that these companies do. They put the specs together. So when they get that back from their company, they are looking at those specs and using their knowledge base. Jason, just like you're saying, just like when you do your things, you have your knowledge base for that particular job that maybe Gale Associates wouldn't have. So
Nice to see, Austin, is what I'm saying. I'm not disputing.
But what is it that you want to see
A
that would
bid
make...
sheet, something that shows me how it's broken down. I mean, we're voting on a big project that we've been talking about, a project that really, and it's no fault of anybody up here, should never happen because somebody 25 years ago made a decision to put concrete instead of granite. So my job and my expectation is that if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
But Jason, to your point, this wasn't even supposed to be voted on tonight. That's where my confusion is. She was just presenting information, but ARM was going to come
Right.
at the April 8th meeting. So my thing is, oh, are we getting presentation? But then Austin's saying, well, why are we waiting? Let's vote tonight. So if it's just a presentation, then she can get her numbers. And then on that next meeting, when everything was supposed to be actually laid out, we would have that information. So it was either vote or no vote, and that's where I think the confusion is lying.
I understand,
So,
Jenna, but
hang
it
on a
was
second,
back
Jason.
and forth
Yeah, I know what
of,
you're
Jason.
well, we need to, sorry, Mr. Chair.
So you just got this information yesterday.
I got the price at 2 o'clock on Friday,
Okay.
but I had spoken with Jane Levin yesterday. I spoke with her Friday afternoon. So just to make sure nobody else was planning on bidding, and to get those additional references. So I wanted to be prepared, but yes, we're just getting it. So it never would have made a board packet or enough time prior to today.
Yeah. The cutoff time was not enough time for us to
No.
consider this today.
Right, we just,
And you've spoken to Jane, the other Jane, and Yale Associates, and my understanding is that if we vote on it, they are going to come at the next meeting. They're going to properly present this, and we can vote on it, and that should not create any delay in the completion of the project.
well, I think that, I think that we'll be okay on the 8th. I think that me requesting that we at least see the brick samples so we can start choosing to save some time, and we're prepared for that.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Start
Hopefully one of them
whatever-
will be able to attend. I did send him an email, and I'm sure I'll hear from them tomorrow. I didn't have, ARM was not able to come tonight to present the roofs, but in the future, I won't present on the contracts unless we have one of the,
Yeah, but even,
providers here.
we would have time to review the documents, to ask questions. They're just, with when this bid process closed, it doesn't seem like there was enough time to bring it forward tonight.
correct.
All right, so if you're comfortable with that, we can get all the documents to the board. We can hopefully have Gail here at the next meeting on April 8th. We can take a vote, and that should be sufficient to get this project done this summer.
Right, and Jason, as far as what you want to see, do you want to see the bid specs, like their bid packet? And then,
It doesn't have to be a leveling sheet, Jane, but it could just be something that breaks down what the costs are.
okay,
That's it. I mean, it could just be their column, right? This is materials, this is labor, this, just right down the line.
okay. Their bid
And
didn't
listen,
even.
I think Gail's been great this entire process over the last couple of years. Gail's been great. I'm not disputing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not disputing the relationship there or their knowledge. I feel like I'm getting conflicting things like we can wait, we can't wait.
I think we want to make sure that we get this right and we give it the proper review that it deserves.
Moving
So
on?
with that, moving on.
That's the plan to start with, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That it, Jane, for your update? That is what we were doing.
Is that what we're doing? My attachments of my financials are in your board packet, so if anybody has any questions on those, they can reach out to me.
Thank you. Austin?
All righty. I don't need these with a 37 font. Read Across America at the elementary schools was wonderful, and I hope many of you were able to participate. I know I saw some of you today at Grinnell, most of you today. I read my favorite children's book, Double Trouble in Walla Walla, by Andrew Clements, with illustrations by Salvatore Murdocha, which is so fun to say. It is so much fun to sit with a classroom of elementary school children and allow them to be themselves, to laugh, and to have fun with reading and with learning. After I retire, it is something I will definitely continue to do at the local elementary schools where I live. Our Human Resource Director, Kathy Kennedy, recently published the open positions for the 2025-2026 school year. They are as follows. We are looking for a school nurse at East Derry Memorial Elementary School. At Ernest P. Barker Elementary School, we have the following open positions: reading specialist and special education teacher. West Running Brook Intermediate School has 3 open positions. School nurse, again, a grade 5 English and social studies teacher, and a special education teacher. Finally, there are a number of openings at Gilbert H. Hood Middle School. These include grade 7 and 8 science, grade 7 and 8 math, special education teacher, music teacher, wellness teacher, and American Sign Language instructor. I wish they had American Sign Language when I failed Spanish back in, well, we called it junior high back then. So anyways, if you are qualified and interested in any of these positions, please go to our website, sau10.org, and fill out an application on the Frontline site. If you have questions, please call the Human Resource Department at the SAU, 603-432-1210, or you can call directly to the main office of the school where the job is located. Thank you, and we look forward to your application. I want to take a moment to thank all of the Derry voters who came out to vote last Tuesday to support our budget, the facility bond, our teachers' new contract, and to elect this new school board. I look forward to working together over these next few months to continue moving the Derry Cooperative School District forward. And I thank you.
All right. Thank you, Austin. No committees have met since our last meeting, so no committee updates tonight. FYIs, I believe you all had the newsletter from Nourishing New Hampshire in your packet. They recognized the National School Breakfast events that we had at our schools. They had some pictures from Grinnell and Barca in there. You also had a sheet from Pinkerton showing their total enrollment from all of the sending towns. Did anyone have any questions on that? Sounds like no. So if we have no other FYIs, our future meeting schedule, we have our 2 regular meetings in April, Tuesday, April 8th, Tuesday, April 22nd, both at 6:30 p.m. So we will see everyone back here on April 8th. At this time, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First by Jen,
Second.
second by Jenna. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Good night, everybody.